Well, hello everybody. What you're seeing right now is my drive today. I am going through the West Virginia mountains. I'm on the I-79 right now, and I thought you would enjoy seeing some of the scenery that I get to see when I'm out driving. I've actually driven this route before, and although the routing I had for this drive was a shorter route with less miles, that I just decided to go this way, and I really wanted to do that, tell you that in that way, because I wanted to show you that you do have some options and choices out here to go a particular way, although it may add more miles to your route, and or the time could go with that. Sometimes it's more miles but less time, but most of the time it's more miles, more time. But even though that's the case, you definitely have opportunities out here as a nomad that wants to go out and see the wilderness. Everybody, again, as you can see, I'm parked now and stationary, so I want to go ahead and get right into going over this past year with you. Before I get into that, I just wanted to say hello and address my fellow expediters. I understand that I have some people that are doing this same line of work that have found my channel here, and I want to, of course, welcome you and thank you for joining me. I'm glad you find a little bit about what I have to say interesting. But I did want to make sure and stress that my core audience that I'm speaking to, that I'm trying to reach out to, is people that are looking to get out on the road and live a nomadic lifestyle, and they are trying to find a way to sustain that financially, some type of work to provide that income to do that. So that is really kind of my target here. So as I do videos, especially like some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, it might go quite a bit against the norm or the grain of the normal expediter in that. So I hope you guys understand that. It's a little bit of, well, quite a bit of different kind of people that I'm speaking to. Certainly if you are in this business as a job, especially as your primary job, you obviously are going to be looking for ways to maximize your money and almost chase the money in some ways, so I'm really not going to be talking on that level, at least in this particular video, as much. I may make a reference to it, but just so that everybody understands, I'm not blind to that. but I'm really speaking to people that are not so much concerned about maximizing their money. They're more concerned about coming out, changing their life, and getting an opportunity to experience this and live this kind of a lifestyle. And they just need, something that isn't too difficult to do, that's flexible, and it's got the freedom they need to, work when they want and not work when they want, and all of that. So that's kind of the whole real purpose here. So again, I hope my fellow expediters, you understand that. And with that, let's get into this past year. So there were a lot of things that I didn't want to I didn't feel 100% comfortable talking to you guys about, mostly because I'm always trying to be straight with you and honest with you, and I'm basing it on my personal experience, not on things I hear. Now, I'm not saying that I might mention that, but I'm always going to tell you that, and I'm going to stress that unless you know yourself or you've experienced it yourself, that to me is the only way that you can truly base a decision on, especially as something as important as getting out and doing this kind of job, or I should say, making this change of lifestyle and all of that. So, I take that very seriously, and the advice that I give you and the information I give you. So, for the most part, it is from my personal experience. Well, I can't give you that until I've been doing this a while. So that's why there was a gap there between my last video and now, was because I really wanted to get back to focusing on, the job and gain that experience. So then when it came time to sort of connect the dots between when I started, which was my first series of videos to introduce you to this job, but there was obviously a few things that I didn't know for sure. I was hoping that, I could do this. I was hoping I could do that. I was hoping this would work out this way, but I didn't know 100% for sure. All right, so that's it on that. So let's go ahead and look at the past year. I guess in a nutshell, if I were to keep it short and simple, for those of you that like it that way, I can tell you that absolutely that that everything panned out just as I hoped it would, and really had no surprises. I was expecting something to kind of surface. There is one thing that did kind of come up, but it was something that I was able to sort of work with. So I really didn't. It concerned me at first, but not as much later, and that was that the particular company that I ended up contracting with as a solo driver, they really don't go out and send solos out west. And as you know, I'm out on the road to travel to see the whole country. So that was a little bit of a limitation there. However, as you already know, I already made, the last video I did before the gap was a trip out to California, and I since have done another trip in February. When I put in that request to do that, I was fully supported by the company. So in other words, although they won't be automatically looking for loads for me that are going out west, when I do put in that request, they definitely come through. So they may not necessarily get me all the way there to where I want to go, but they're definitely going to be able to get me some of the way there. And then, of course, that can vary on the distance and that. But again, that's just something that I've learned is fine. It's really isn't that bad. I thought, well, maybe I say that, but when I'm still looking at driving 800 miles to get where I want to go or something, then it may be a different thing. No, it really isn't. Okay, so other than that, everything's been working out great. The freedom I have is definitely there. Now, that may again vary on the company that you're contracted with. By the way, I am speaking to you as an owner-operator, not as a driver. Big difference there, guys. So, I'm trying to keep it straight and simple, basically, again, based on my personal experience. So remember, this is if you decide to be an owner-operator. But a smaller company, they may have a little bit, higher expectations as far as your in-service time. I don't know for sure, but it kind of seems like that would be the case. I know if I were on the other end, that's something that I would expect. But the larger companies, because they have so many more vans, having a van go out of service or several van or whatever, which I'm sure never get to a point where they're having a shortage. It's just not an issue. So you'll definitely have the freedom to go out of service when you want, for however long you want. And again, they told me that in the beginning. When I asked them, I was very straight up about it, because obviously I knew how important that was going to be. And yeah, and I can definitely tell you, not a problem at all. You don't even have to call them. You don't have to plead your case, you know, of a big story of why you're going out of, no, you don't have to call them. There's a satellite system that I have here in the truck. In fact, I'm going to reach over for a minute and do a little show and tell. Here it is, right here. This is my satellite system. And there's a macro in here where you can go out of service. You can just put it in here. You don't have to call them or anything like that. And this thing goes right down to the minute. I'm going to try to get it to come up here. I don't know if this is going to work. I can't even get this in the camera here for you. Is it going to focus? I can't tell, guys. I'm sorry. I wasn't actually expecting to do this, but I'm trying. Let's see. Let me see if I do that. Does it focus? Okay. Can you see that? Pause it. I don't know. Okay. So as you can see, it says I'm going out of service on. You put the date. You put the time. You say returning to duty on the date and the time. Now, if you're not sure when you're going to come back, you know, just put it far out. And you can always then, when you're, you know, further out than, like, you know, you're going to be back before that date, that's fine. Because then all you got to do is, I'm sorry about the brightness changing, guys. I'm trying to keep up with that. In fact, hold on a minute. I'm going to lock that. Maybe that'll help. Okay. So, and then if you want to come back early, then all you have to do is you got this other macro that says, please put me in service as of now. And you put an X in that and send it, and you're done. And you are instantly back in service. So there you go. So it's right here. That's your freedom right there. And that's as straightforward as I can show you and make it. So you have a lot of freedom there. And just to really drive that point home, I actually, over this past year, I ran into a team, a husband and wife team, worked same contract with the same company as me. They take the entire winter off. Now, I had heard about people that refuse to drive in the winter, and they live in Florida, and yeah, they just stay in Florida the whole winter. So, and I asked them, I said, and that's okay, right? And they said, absolutely, we do it every year. We go out of service for about 3 months. The only thing is that if you go longer than 1 month, you do have to go back to the headquarters. Before they can give you your next load, you have to go there and under controlled, obviously, situation, get a P-test basically done again. And then you got to wait for it to come back. You know, usually it's the next day or same day, next day. And then then you're back in business. They can give you a load and off you go. So that's wrapping that up about, you know, freedom, taking time off when you want, however long you want, those kinds of things. And again, I'm speaking from specifically from being an owner-operator and being contracted with the company that, you know, is going to support that. And I'm pretty sure that most of the big brand name companies that have a lot of vans are going to be okay with that. Can't say for sure. Again, I'm not speaking from direct experience from other companies, but obviously from mine, I could definitely say that with a lot of confidence. So, and I'm just thrilled about that, because I heard that and I'm just like, yeah, you know, but let's see if it really, nope, it's just like that. They really look at you and treat you as you should be treated, which is you are a business owner and it's your van and you do what you want to do, you know, with your business and with your van. As far as income goes, I know some of you, you know, now here's the thing, some of you are looking at this, and I get that, through conversations I've had, you're looking at this as a somewhat primary job. So in other words, you're putting a priority more on the job and less on the nomadic lifestyle, at least in the beginning, because I've had conversations where some of you are looking for this as a way to more quickly at least get out on the road while you then pay down your financial obligations. I'm not going to tell you that you can't do that, but I am going to tell you that this job is, you know, very volatile. It's very up and down with the income. If you're not used to that, or you've never had a job like that, this could be a challenge for you. It could be difficult. So I would be a little more cautious in telling you, oh yeah, yeah, that'll work too. You can come out and, no problem. Okay, I'd be a little more cautious with that. What I'm trying to speak to here on my channel is people that are going to really, kind of do this. I don't want to say the right way, because that makes it say, well, if you do it the other way, it's the wrong way. But if you want the best, again, chance, best odds of success, coming out here, living as a nomad, living this lifestyle, making that big change, is that you need to strip away as much as you can, actual stuff. Be a minimalist, right? As much as you can. So what am I saying? Well, I'm basically saying is, if I talk from my experience, that means that you would have to do it pretty much like I did it, right? That is the best way to do it, if you can. It's the best way to do it. And I will go as far as telling you, you really need to do it that way if you're looking to do this job, okay? I would not, because I'd be very cautious, and I would almost be telling you not to do it, at least until maybe I get to talk to you, and maybe we can find a way to work, to some idea. But really, this job is just too volatile. So you really need to have, you really need to be down to the bare minimum, and don't have any overhead, don't have any debt, other than, the necessities, right? So that way you can endure the up and down of this work. And I can tell you right now, you can do that. Okay, so again, from experience, now I can tell you that this job, absolutely 100%, no problem at all. I've never had a problem, never a worry that this job was not going to sustain my my lifestyle. All right, guys. Well, I had to take a quick pause here on the video. I had to go take care of Lucy there. By the way, she's doing great. I did shoot a little video with her, so I'm gonna see about maybe getting that up soon. Tell you, how she's doing. And so yeah, anyway, had to take care of her, so I'm back. The lighting might be a little different. Of course, I'm editing this in at the end here of this video on looking back at my first year. And the final thing I wanted to address with you was the van, the vehicle. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, how'd the van hold up? How's it doing? How do you like it? Those kinds of things. Absolutely love this van. I am so glad that after all the comments that I got back from people that I spoke with, that things I read online, saying that the van is expensive to maintain, and it has that DEF system, and and there were some issues with that in the beginning, especially, and things like that. I'm just glad I stuck to my guns and just went forward with it, and because there are a lot of these vans out there, and so I just think it comes down to really what's going to fit you the best. For me, I wanted that large space, right? I wanted that 7 feet of living space in the back. That's very important, obviously, living out on the road. This is my home, so that was the big decision for me. And although I was hearing all this other stuff about the van, as I did more research, and certainly I can speak with you from experience now, this van is really not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. And here's something to keep in mind for anything when you're doing your research, is a lot of it is people saying, well, I heard, or I read somewhere, or things of this nature, so they're really getting information from other people who may be getting information from other people who may be getting information from other people. The information I'm providing you is direct. I do know that when I was researching vehicles and looking at this Mercedes Sprinter van, I of course obviously talked to some Mercedes Sprinter van owners, Expediters that had this van, and that although they recognized some of the things as being factual that people would say, they have to, they had to, just like I did, is decide whether or not that either applied to them or was a concern for them. So it's not that you don't want to know about that stuff, but just don't let that discourage you and keep you from getting something that really is truly is the best fit, because you want to be very happy when you're out here. And if you're a nomad, especially, you're living in this van full time, you know it's even that much more important. So I feel that if you are a nomad and want to live as a nomadic lifestyle out here, I feel that the Mercedes Sprinter van is the best van to do that in.